Good afternoon and welcome to this online conference that we are sharing today with Guy Kerger from MindForest, our partner. Some rules for this online conference. So during the webinar, please send your question by email at cybersecuritydays@post.lu. This question will be addressed at the end of the presentation. Before starting, I will introduce myself. I'm Olivier Antoine. I'm working from Post and Cyberforce department since 5 years, and I'm leading the information security management team, which cover all information related to governance, risk, and compliance topics. So we are part of Cyberforce department. Who is Cyberforce? In fact, to better support its customer digital transformation, Post is adopting an ambitious strategy and federating all skills around cybersecurity around a single brand called Post Cyberforce. As you can see in the slide, Cyberforce services are structured around 5 pillars. Offensive security, focus on pen test, red team, and forensic services. Advisory services, focus on governance, risk, compliance, business continuity management, and also security training. Security professional services, focus on the implementation and management of security solutions. Cyber defense, focus on computer security incident response team, but also on security operational center. And finally, cyber labs, focus on the development of initiative security solution. For example, they are currently developing some solution to prevent telecom fraud. And now, let Guy introduce himself and his company.
Yes, hello. I'm the managing partner from MindForest. I've created MindForest 20 years ago in order to do change management. So we help people to change. And why are we doing that? Because we see even things which are very well defined, like, for example, the strategy of a company or processes. It's always people who make that it's not working like it should. So our job is to help the companies and to help the people to understand what the strategy is about, what the process is about, and how they can change in order to go in that direction. And today we are here also and working together with Post because cybersecurity, it's very related to people, it's very related to culture which has to change, but we're going to go through that later on. Thank you.
What about the human factor? Why is this topic? Because after the previous conference organized by Post and EBRC about business continuity management, about new perspective on security protection, and about also how to protect your business against the bad guys with a SOC demo. And today we wanted to put people back at the heart of cybersecurity topic and show you through concrete example what we have put in place since 5 years with our partner MindForest. This is during the COVID situation. In fact, this issue is even more relevant this year with the unusual situation of COVID and also home working. And the current crisis and containment situation is generating a flood of stress and anxiety. This situation weakens our professional exchange and increase our cyber security and cyber vulnerabilities. In fact, whether employees generally apply the rule in place for their company, they forget this rule when they're working from home because they feel safe in their private environment, which is unfortunately not often the case. The development of IoT and connected objects we are often now very secure, and the remote connection to corporate network has considerably increased the attack surface. This is confirmed by the latest statistic. What we can demonstrate is the increase of phishing attack, and hackers have tried to take advantage of people's weakness with the COVID situation. Some concrete example with some recent figures. So ENISA, the European Union Agency for Cybersecurity, publish every year a statistic regarding the top 15 threats. So for the year 2020, they have published their study last week. And as we can show, on the first topic is malware, and the third is phishing. These both threats are also linked to human factor, of course. Phishing is a fraudulent attempt to obtain sensitive information or data like password, credit card number, and username, authentication information by usurping the identity of a trust person or company. At the local level, as you can see also, by Circle. The Circle is a computer incident response center for Luxembourg, a government driver initiative designed to drive review, report, and response to computer incident security and threats. And as you can see in these figures, phishing is also the main topics and the main incident inventory by Circle. It's also, at the post level, it's also confirmed by our computer incident response team. This team is in charge of our incident, but also incident impacting our customer. As you can show in the graph, more than 50% of incidents related to post or post-customer are related to phishing since the month of March. Since the month of March, we have seen an increase of phishing attack. So containment is a good opportunity for cybercrime. With the increased presence of a population in cyberspace, hackers send them more malicious content. So, some word about internal threats. So, careful or uninformed staff is the second most likely cause of a serious security breach. Employee can become a vector of attack, of incident in several ways. They may be negligent, they may be naive, they may be misinformed, they may be victim of routine, or their action may be malicious. Not knowing the rules, not knowing how to react can lead to a risky situation for the employee, but also for the company.
Yes, why is that? Why are people not doing the right thing? Why are they careless? Because you've told them, you have set up all the policy in order to explain to the people that they have to behave in a different way. Why are they not doing it? But in fact, they are not doing it because they are behaving in the same way as I think you experience with your children. When you ask them something to do, they ask you all the time, why? And in fact, very often in the communication or in the companies, you don't give the why. You just tell them what they have to do, and people will not accept something if you don't explain the why. And also very often they don't seem concerned because all the examples which are given on cybersecurity come from somebody else. So Google has, some bank has, but it's not me, it's not our company, it's not our service. So why do I have to do something? So the first thing in order onboard people, to bring them in and to think, to change things, is to explain them why they have to do it and why it's important for themselves, showing them that, for example, a colleague of them has lost some information, has big problems with his IT because of, and he's very close, so they are more and more open to that. A second problem is that the communication also is, in fact, it's written to be complete, it's written to be legally exact, but it doesn't address people. So if it's not readable for the people, you miss your aim, you miss your objective. The objective is not to have written it and afterwards saying, yes, but I had a policy which is very clear and everything is in it. No, that's not the objective. It's the objective, if you have a problem, to justify yourself. But the objective is to have the people to understand, first of all, to read it, and second, to understand it, and third, to behave in accordance, which is not very often the case. And another point which is very interesting is when we are discussing with companies about that is, as Olivier explained you, 75% of the people are the risk. So 75% of the problems which are there come from the people. So it's not a problem of rules, it's not a problem of technology, which is today very professional, which is very developed, like Cyberforce, which has been created and has a long history of professionals behind that. So these kinds of things are taken care of, but nobody takes care of the people, or very, very few. But you saw in the stats that, in fact, it's 75%. So people are the risks, and you should take equal care to the people than you take care to your technology. So, and that's an important factor which normally people or companies are not aware of, because they think, okay, I have done now all the technical things which has to be done. I am qualified, I'm certified, so everything's fine. But the people are not on board. So you have to onboard the people in order to get it right. And we now live it that, in fact, also cybersecurity, even in company, it's looked at, it's not my problem. It's a problem IT gonna take care of. It's somebody else is gonna take care of it. I just do my job, or I just try to do my job. And as we heard now in the past weeks and months, very often, it's we have to take our own responsibility in what's happening in society today. And the same is true in the way of how we behave concerning cybersecurity in the company, and not only in the company, because cybersecurity, it's not only in the company, it's also in the train, it's in the bus, when you're moving around, it's when you are in the bar, okay, now less, but when you are again able to go in the bar. So you have to pay attention to that, and so it's about your behavior, it's about your culture, which has to adapt, which we learned now on the hard way how to do it, but we have to do it in, I hope, in a more soft way, to do it in cybersecurity in that way, yeah. And in fact, changing culture, it's a quite difficult thing, but some things are basic for people to change to something. And the basic thing for somebody to do something in a different way is that he has, first of all, he has to understand it. If people are not understanding why they have to do something, or why it's done in this way or in another way, then they cannot accept it. So first I have to understand, what do you want and why do you want it, and do I agree with that? And then when I agree to it and say, yes, it's clear for me, I can, these measurements which are constraining, but I can agree with that, so I can accept it, then I am able to change. And this process is not a process which is just saying, okay, I put out a note, I put out a newsletter, and then everybody gonna read it and say, okay, it was comprehensive, it's complete, so I'm gonna do it. So people, in order to understand and accept, they have to discuss it, they have to exchange, so they have to question it. It's not because they are not for it or because they are against it. No, it's like it's working like this. If people want to change something in their behavior, they have to question it, even if they want to accept it later on, and then they can go on, and that's very important. So that makes it that it's not just a process of communicating, but it's a process on the team level, on the department level, saying, okay, how are we going to do it, how is the threat for us, and how are we going to manage. So a process you have to go through. Otherwise, it's not working. It's the same way. If you have a strategy and you have to implement strategy, it's not the white paper who's going to change it. It's people have to discuss the strategy, has to agree with the strategy. So that's the important things. So what we have developed together with Post is, in fact, that we have to come in a situation where people are involved, they are engaged, so it's not just a meeting we have once every 6 months, but it's really something where we engage because it's a daily process where we have to pay attention to it, and they have to develop ownership. It's like we develop no ownership with COVID, where we say, okay, we are on ourselves in charge. And what we've developed in order to go in that direction is we use a lot, we use different tools, but one tool we use quite a lot is gamification. So it's a way of understanding things in a more pleasant way than to reading a procedure. So at the beginning we have been working with Lego Serious Play, which not everybody knows, but it's an interesting thing in order to discover things and to understand things. COVID times, it's not so useful anymore. So we went over to online gaming, online workshops, escape room, digital escape room, where in fact, and that's the important point, people have to explore on themselves the risks they are facing, and it's not somebody telling them the risk. If they are in the game, in the workshop, they are exploring the risks which are there, and they are also with their colleagues finding solutions to co-developing solutions in order what they should do. So when you find the solution yourself with your colleagues, you're gonna apply them, and normally the solutions are quite clear, but it's very more efficient. We are much more engaged if you own the solution and say, yes, we have constructed it and it's going to work in our department. And then you have a completely different attitude to the problem and you're going to solve it on a very different way. And what's also interesting in this approach, it's not an approach where you say, okay, it's just for the managers, it's just for the people in that office. In fact, in this development, you can include all stakeholders. So in fact, if you mix the people, you understand the point of view of the different people, and then you're going to agree to it, and then you're going to do it in the future. So what we have tried to create is, in fact, an end-to-end process for user involvement. So user involvement is key, and it's key, first of all, to start with, in order to see that people see where are the problems, where is also the value of the loss. Very often, yeah, we lost some data, but what's the value of the loss we have? So people have not a real relationship to that, but it's quite important to have this value, which is also a value in damage of the image, etc., etc. So people have to discover these things, then they develop solutions, and then also they develop best practices, which work in their company. You can't, there are some things you can transpose from one company to another company, but they are the most effective ones are the ones where you create them and you create internally your awareness because you are an ambassador of your cybersecurity in your company, and then also these actions will stay on the long run, and it's not just an action you're going to do now from November to December because you can't leave, and in January it's forgotten because you have something else. So it's on the long run that you have to create this awareness, and that's working with user involvement. So what is the initial context of awareness at Post Luxembourg? In fact, we have a question: how to carry out information security awareness action at a wide audience. We are more than 3,500 employees, and with diverse and varied functions, from postman to managers. As explained by Guy, it's not only for manager, it's only for all people. And our security message is security is for all employees, for every function. How to popularize post-information security policies, and how we can get our security message across a funny way. So our partnership started with MindForest in September 2015, which was very fast because
Cyberforce department was created, Cybersecurity department, which is the name in 2015, started in January. And with MindForest, we immediately find the right partner to meet our expectation. And together, sorry, you can show in the figures, but together with MindForest, we have built a roadmap for awareness of all post-employees. This roadmap includes a number of actions such as a space dedicated in our intranet, security newsletter, a day dedicated to information security, webinar, but also serious game. And now I will show you some achievement of this workflow. So the first part is a security sheet. As explained by Guy, it's important for employees to understand our security policies because we have a core security policies called information security policies, but after that we have also a set of sub-policies, and we want to explain very quickly and in a common language for all employees, our policies. So it's why we decided with MindForest to create a summary of each security policies in a E4 format. And we created for each policies we have, and we created also this kind of security sheets for some main threats like ransomware, like phishing. This example of a security sheet is for ransomware. And in fact, in Recto, in A4 format, on Recto, we have explanation of the threats. And on Verso, we have the rules to be applied by employee. So we have done a lot of security sheets. For example, introduction to information security, ransomware, president fraud, social engineering, phishing, classification of document and document management, and acceptable use policy. After that, we create also, we want to organize on-site awareness session. And I will just give this before. We want to create awareness session with all employees. As already explained, we have a range of more than 3,500 people. It's very difficult to organize on-site session with all employees, awareness session with all employees, because we have different locations, we have different working hours. So more than 40 sessions has been done during 6 months, and knowing that audience was very varied in terms of function, we wanted to address the more important rules in terms of cyber security. So MindForest helped us to create the PowerPoint presentation and also to summarize all rules we have in our policy. I'll come back to the security booklet because at the end of this awareness session, all employees have received this security booklet. It's a 20-page guide in French and also German, summarize safety rules for employees. It's a kind of summarize of awareness session we have done, and it presents what are the main rules when people are on office, when they are inside a building or post building, when they are outside the building, and when they're working at home. In order to measure also the impact of awareness session on employees, we regularly organize various tests, including a phishing test. So this is an illustration of a phishing campaign we have organized. This phishing email has been sent to a sample of employees, around 500 people, with all elements that can be found in this type of attack. the name of an existing service of post, a fake hyperlink text, an urgent situation. In this case, it's the need to give your authentication parameters, otherwise your account will be blocked. But we had also introduced some fake elements to see if employees were attentive to such as using the puzzle.lu domain instead of post.lu. Of course, during the awareness campaign, we explained to all employees how to detect a phishing email. And we have also put in place a fake website, so if people follow the link included in the email, of course they come in the fake website in order to collect their username, but also their password. And the anonymized result of the campaign, phishing campaign, were published on the security page on our intranet. And also, during this publication, we remind the good practice to adopt with the phishing. But for the next campaign, I go directly to this slide. For the next campaign, we wanted to attract employees into our trap with a win. Based on the launch of the latest Galaxy phone, we offer employees the opportunity to register to win a free edition. Oops, sorry. I'll let you imagine the result of this campaign, despite the reminder made during the previous campaign. Many fell for it, and at all levels of function in post employees. But we continue the exercise every year, and the result shows that awareness is beneficial. So I come with the Martian campaign. Martian campaign is one of the most beautiful realizations and perfectly illustrates your initial need, how to address a security role in a funny way. I'll let you show the video of Martian campaign. This video was a kind of teaser to announce our campaign. Then we post in all buildings a poster announcing the invasion of the Martian, of course, without specifying any dates. And finally, we carry out clean desk audit during several nights in all post buildings. And the idea was also to leave a trace of our visit. And with MindForest, we adopt the idea of a bookmark, like this, left on each desk. Green, if the office and desk is compliant with the rule of our clean desk policies, or red, up, like this, if we have found non-conformity. We have just a slight problem. Okay. After this campaign and after our on-site awareness session, as already explained, we have several problems to organize online sessions due to the number of attendees and the times to organize this session. So we decided also not to repeat this exercise every year, but we decided to develop security modules for our post e-learning platform. For one of these modules, the management of password, we wanted to have also animation rather than static text. Here again, with MindForest, with the help of MindForest, free animation was created in order to address login and password management, creation of password, and also password protection. I'll let you show this video of password.
Tous les mots de passe utilisateurs et systèmes doivent être construits dans le respect des règles suivantes. Un bon mot de passe se compose au minimum de 8 signes pour les comptes utilisateurs, mais doit en compter au minimum 15 pour les comptes privilégiés, administrateurs des systèmes, etc. Pour augmenter la complexité du mot de passe, il est recommandé d'utiliser un mélange de chiffres, de lettres majuscules et minuscules, ainsi que des caractères spéciaux. Les mots de passe ne peuvent en aucun cas contenir le texte POST et toute référence à Post Luxembourg et ses entités. Exemple, Scooby-Doo, Bamboo, Backup, EBRC, PO12345, etc. Tout terme en lien avec l'activité concernée, l'identifiant ou le matricule du collaborateur. Un bon mot de passe doit être facile à retenir pour rester fort. En effet, si un mot de passe est trop compliqué à retenir, l'utilisateur trouvera différentes astuces, comme par exemple l'inscription du mot de passe sur un papier collé sur l'écran ou sous le clavier lui permettant de s'authentifier. Pour ne pas mettre en danger la sécurité du système d'information de poste, il existe différents moyens mnémotechniques pour fabriquer et retenir des mots de passe forts. Méthode phonétique. Cette méthode consiste à utiliser les sons de chaque syllabe pour fabriquer une phrase facile à retenir. Par exemple, la phrase « J'ai acheté 8 CD pour 100 € cet après-midi » deviendra « J'ai acheté » en minuscule, le chiffre 8, CD en majuscule, le sigle pourcentage, E majuscule, le chiffre 7, AM minuscule. Méthode des premières lettres. Cette méthode consiste à garder les premières lettres d'une phrase. Citation, parole de chanson, en veillant à ne pas utiliser que des minuscules. Par exemple, la citation « Un tien vaut mieux que deux tu l'auras » donnera un TVM en minuscule, Q en majuscule, le chiffre 2, T en minuscule, L en minuscule, apostrophe, A en majuscule. Gestionnaire de mots de passe, préconisé par le poste CSE, l'utilisation du coffre-fort de mots de passe de poste. Veuillez vous adresser pour cela au département IT. Enfin, ne pas mélanger des mots de passe personnels et professionnels. Un mot de passe doit être unique et ne doit pas être réutilisé pour accéder à d'autres systèmes.
And let's end the presentation of some of our achievements with the IRMA campaign. This campaign is inspired by what we did for the subject of Clean Desk, but this time we address the issue of personal information available on the internet, on social network. This action is also accompanied by a poster campaign in different buildings. You have the chance today to be the first to see this video, as it will be only published in our intranet at the end of this week.
Wow.
Yes, what Olivier has presented you is, in fact, some examples of all the service portfolio of actions which has and events and methods and tools which have been developed in co-creation between Post and MindForest in order to raise the awareness and really help the people in order to get to change their culture in a way that you be more an active person in this context. So what's really important is not just now picking out single things and saying, okay, I'm going to make now this brochure or I'm going to make an event. It really has to fit in the complete flow of the company. So one first point every time is really, as Post has been done at the beginning, is really to do a reality check. Where are we standing? What is necessary? What are the information people really need? What is the understanding which is there? And then finding real life stories and not just copying stories you find in the media and saying, look around. So it's really having real life stories in order to help the people to understand that they are the actor and it's not somebody else. And value is a very important thing because it's so abstract what cybersecurity costs or not cybersecurity is costing. So that should be an important point. And the next step is really what has been done here is really involve people. They have to be involved, they have to be engaged, they have to develop ownership. Otherwise, you just put one action and it will be forgotten after a month and it has no effect at all. And all this will lead to consolidated culture where, in fact, there's a community where people pay attention to it, where the management knows how to help people, how to react, how to support people in order to have the relevant behavior in the context of cybersecurity. Though, as we said now in the last 40 minutes, it's really about the people which are going to change things. Thank you.
So this concludes our presentation, and now it's time to see your question and to try to respond to your question.
So first question. So have you seen an evolution in the awareness of the employee between security sheet and the videos?
Yeah, as explained during the phishing slides, we saw a concrete result. Of course, when we perform awareness session, when we perform awareness action, you need to have some KPIs in order to monitor your awareness maturity level of employees. And of course, during 5 years, we see an increase of maturity in terms of security. When we perform clean desk, we find good result now. Phishing, it's also the case. And we have put also several actions in parallel to awareness session. So we have a team dedicated to information security management, and now we have all tools needed by employees in order to avoid any incident and know how to react.
Does this kind of communication can be adapted to small companies which may not have a cybersecurity department?
Yes, of course. In fact, it's not about doing a lot of communication. It's really having the right communication. As I said, you need real life stories. So and this real life story doesn't need to be now a video which is very sophisticated, but it could be the testimonials from people in your company, in your environment, which had done some mistakes in the past and they had problems with cybersecurity. So that's a very effective way, which doesn't cost really a lot of things, a lot of money. And so, but what's important is to combine the actions. It's not just doing one thing one time. It's really to have an analysis where you want to go, where's your problem, and that can be done from very small companies to medium companies and also, of course, to large companies, for sure.
With this awareness, do you think that it prepares better or train better your employees to face the potential fraud that have been seen during the COVID?
In fact, it's better. We want to promote now learning management system and e-learning because, as explained, it's very difficult to organize on-site session due to the fact that you have different location, you have different profile in employee. Just to give you an example, when you have performed on-site session, we are some team working during the night, so we have organized awareness session during the night or at the beginning of the morning. So it's why also we promote our e-learning mode, because with e-learning people can see this session during when they're working from home, when they have time, and they can again check this e-learning module when they forget something, and they can again replay the video. So I think for the future it will be our main topics to develop new models on e-learning instead of organized online session.
I have currently the last question. I think, Guy, you already answered it, but I will ask it again. How to involve people in companies that do not feel impacted by cyber question, as the main activity of the company is not an IT activity?
Yeah, in fact, cybersecurity has not directly to do with IT. In every company, in fact, you are today, I think most companies have got rid of fax, which is very secure, but every company is using now mail in order to exchange information. So in fact, it's the entering point is in this point the mail, but it's not about that only. It's also you go at home, in the bus you continue to work, and your neighbor is looking at your screen. You are talking on the phone, and another company is listening to what you are talking on the phone. You get your laptop lost. Or like we heard, you give it to a repair shop and then you have a problem after that. So it's not about IT, it's about the tools you use to communicate and to work every day. And that everybody is concerned about that at every level. Even if you are, for example, a truck driver and your truck, you have also a laptop where you get information access to information of the company in order to know your route, to give the last information. So it's very vulnerable to leaving that open. So it's everybody's concerned today.
Question.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your question. This last conference therefore concludes our event proposed and organized in Cybersecurity Week context. We hope that this conference has been very interesting for you, and we'll look forward to seeing you at the next edition, where we'll also include customers' testimonial. Thank you.